coming. This is awesome. Yes, it is. This is Jeri Schulte. We're calling her the Hat Lady. She used to be activity director at Mallard View Care Center in Carroll. How many years?
15, just about 15.
Okay, and she did programs for Family Day, just awesome. I mean, the whole building was decorated, every wall and everything. As you see, she can't do anything small. But anyway, we're hoping she'll enjoy this. If you have any questions, I'm sure Jeri has all the answers.
Yeah, I sure do.
Okay.
First of all, I'm going to show you how LaDonna and I are attached at the hip. Oh, did I miss one? This is it.
Okay.
This is our great-grandmother, Grandma Weiss. This is our Grandma Christensen, and this is my mom and brother. But see, we have the same great-grandma and great-great-grandma. It goes right down to Grandma. You know what? I took this picture because Grandma Weiss has a hat on.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna let you do this.
I lost it in the
Okay. First of all, my favorite hats now, and they never will go with the collection, is my son and his wife went to Australia, and they brought this hat home, and I just love it. And so I kind of like the hats that are out of country now. However, we don't like to speak of Russia today. This is a Russian hat, and they did have this tail on it. But I did see the lady who brought it home for Russia, from Russia for me. The woman's hat is much bigger, and it doesn't have the tail, but it was a pretty hat. So this one did come from Russia. That's probably why I put it on this ugly. I didn't know there was a reason, but I think there was. Okay, she also brought, the same lady that brought this Russian hat was in Greece another time, and she brought me this Greek fisherman's hat, and women always stole the men's fashions, you know that? I mean, when it comes to those fedora hats, those are all women's hats up there. But in the 40s, the men had the fedora hats, and I'd just like to have one of them. I'd like to have one of the men's hats. And my dad and LaDonna's dad wore them all the time, but I don't have one. But this is a Greek fisherman's hat, and the young girls wear them all the time. That's where they wear them.
Yeah.
And like I said, the fedora hats, those are one of my favorite hats, but they're all women's fashion. Here's another hat that was, you remember in the 20s when they said, newspapers, read all about it. Well, this is the newspaper boy's hat. And I got 3 of those. And the newspaper boys' hats were all made of material like this. But, I don't see one right now. I will see it, I will find it. But then, I'm gonna go, you know, years ago, people were smarter than we are today. They wore hats to keep the sun out of your face. They were durable hats. And now we just turn to fashion, and we don't really care if they keep the sun out or anything like that. But I noticed that the older hats were always felt hats that could be reformed, put new ribbon on, put new flowers on, put new veils on. And the shop was called the Millinery Shop. And then they went to the velveteen, and I suppose they could change them a little by, the velveteens are right up front here. They could probably put a new veil on them and stuff, but as old as I am, I never was in a millinery shop, but they said all the Does anybody remember the millinery shops at all? I think they turned them over to a dry cleaners maybe. I don't remember Mom ever having hers reblocked or anything, but I remember Dad doing it, and I think he took it to Carol, to the cleaners to do it. But, that would be an older hat. If it's a felt hat, it's pretty old. Then they went to the velveteen. I've got 2 turn of the century. This was an 1890 hat, and I knew the lady that wore this. Her niece gave that to me. It's a little girl's bonnet. This one here was like a 1900s hat, and that is a cute little hat, girl's hat.
That's my favorite.
This here, even though it's straw, it's a 1920s hat, and the gal who gave it to me told me that, and I really like the hat. This is a very old hat, and the gal I worked with down in Carroll, it was her mother's hat, and she said it was a turn of the century too, and I have 2 of those, but the only difference is, the one has, this is kind of like my mom's wedding picture, right there. They kind of have a smaller stack on it, but they're like 1920, and my folks were married in 1936. All the hats we're kind of recopying it, just like we do fashion. You wait long enough and the hat comes back. So I was gonna try and find that. Here it is. I think I can kind of tell this is older. Oh, I found my newsboy's
good. I
fancy
love that
hat.
one.
Look at there. You look long enough and you find it. It's kind of like at home. But Donna hid that there.
No, I love that one.
But this is a 1920s hat too, and I really like it. The older the better. And I'll tell you, I quit saving hats. Unless I get one from the Kentucky Derby or one of the Royals wedding hats. I want, those are the 2 goals I have. So if you go, bring me one home. Now, let's see. What was I thinking of there? See if they got them all out of their boxes. Well, I've kind of named all my hats, and this is a Doris Day special. I can't, my hair and my head's so big, I can't get them on. That is supposed to be come down, but Donna, come up here. She won't wear a hat, because I'll mess her hair. This one here could be Julia Roberts, but it kind of reminds me. Yeah, this was my Julia Roberts. Who knows Julia Roberts?
Pretty woman.
That's it, Pretty Woman. And she wore one like this too. She was. So these hats are named after Julia Roberts. This one here, oh, my Lady Diana, I just love her. That's Lady Diana's hat. You know, for the first while, her and Princess Kate would never wear a hat. I don't think they were used to it. They were born in the ages where people didn't wear hats and they felt a little self-conscious. So I don't know if there's any, these were called bump hats, and every time they wore them, Diana or Kate, they were always pregnant, and I don't know if that's why I don't know if that's the reason they called them bump hats or what, or if it was just because they were the first hat they ever felt good about putting on. Because they were small and not so big. But
Yeah.
this one is similar. How would you like
I
to
like
sit
that one
behind
too.
somebody
I
in
like
church
that.
with that? Isn't that cute? I don't know who's brave enough to wear that one, but it's cute. Now I gotta see what's on the side. This one is the closest to, it is not a flapper's hat because I got it probably when I first started collecting, but it reminded me more of a flapper's hat than any of them. They've come way down.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, that looks good.
And, of course, these I just had tied around. That's when you went out at night, those little fat flapper strings. Oh. I'll see if I got any in the boxes yet, because I'd hate to have, they're all my favorite hats in the boxes.
Those boxes are nice, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. This one here, it's an original, old 20s or 30s hat. And they always had a bigger bill on them, but they were cute too, and I'm sure they had a coat to wear with them or something.
Yeah,
But I always liked this hat.
I like the
I
colors
thought
of
it
that.
did, but I like
Oh, yeah. Got another Doris Day down here.
Yeah, I kinda remember seeing it in the magazines.
that.
Remember how she used to wear these little pillbox hats?
Yeah.
You're always supposed to tell by that in the back, or they'll have a name brand in the back. But if that's true, which the bill is bigger in the front, the bowl will be right in front. That's, but didn't she wear them kind of in the back a little bit? So, that's her hat. Oh, I got one. This one here. This is whose? Remember? Madonna?
No,
You don't? Do you? Am I the only old one?
no, unfortunately.
This is
No.
Minnie Pearl.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she always has.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I wish
Yeah.
I'd have put my centennial dress on. She always had that Lassa size. She was so cute.
Oh, I should have known when I saw the tag.
Okay. These are the hats you'll see today, and probably the hats you'll see me in. But in 2000, my very best friend had a daughter in the Air Force in Turkey. She wanted me to go along. It took a lot of debating, but I went. And they said a lot of the places over there is just like they were in early days when you went to the Catholic church or you went to any church, you put a hat on. That's just the thing you did. Well, they said if you're gonna go into a mosque, and we did in Istanbul, we went to the Blue Mosque, but then they thought these were too, finally we just put a scarf, just like they wear over there, because we thought these were too dressy and they wouldn't like it. But this folded up in the suitcase, it always came out like this, and it's one of the hats I wore a lot over there.
Hmm.
And that would be something that you'd wear in Florida if you have to take a suitcase and take a hat.
Yeah.
This is the one that can be squished, thrown something on, and this is one that's made out of the same material. You could put that in the suitcase and squash it, and it always come back in shape, ready for the beach. Can't get in a bathing suit, so I'll just bring it back. I can't remember anything else. Oh, I do too. The best I leave for the last.
No,
You know,
she's
it was-
she is so much fun. She always has been.
I got married in the '60s, and the hats going out, but yet you'd see some people in them, you know. But when I was getting ready for this, there is a hat in here that I hope never comes back.
Great.
I have brought one for LaDonna and one for me to wear for Easter.
Oh, okay.
These are it, she can have her pick. Aren't they just hideous? Can't believe it. But I wouldn't trade them, especially that one there.
Yeah.
And then as the ages went on, they went to these things that attracted the bees. And then in church, you would see very little. But
Attracted the bees.
here's how it started, with just something real simple like this. Then we went to that. Then they went to something like this. And they got skimpier as you went. See that? That's what they wore, so they had something on their head.
That is pretty.
And then all these little things, they're just clamp-on things. They came late in the 60s. Don't want anybody to feel bad, I got more flowers. You know, I always thought hats would come back. The only place you really see them is at the Kentucky Derby, or, you know, I don't know. This is almost like what my mother wore at my wedding, except hers was turquoise. It's just like that. Not much to it. I think I got about every color. You see, the red one was just a clamp on too, just something to say you had on your head.
Yeah, that's pretty.
They always had a veil yet, they always. There's just all kinds of, this one here is very disgusting. Look at that. I don't even know what's front and back, with the fur be to the back or the front, I don't know. It looks like there might have been a veil here though, so.
Isn't it?
You know it does. Halloween costume. Scare somebody.
This was something I wouldn't wanna drop on the bedroom floor and not know what it was. That is a regular hat that they just put over their head and it's a blob of fur.
Yes.
That was kind of cute, how it kind of drapes in the back. That's what they ended up with, just netting and a bow or a flower. Just think of the, here's one that's still in the box yet.
Oh.
Do you remember Fonz? He would always say, Mrs. C. And she, yeah, I feel like I had something on my head. Somebody tell me I had that on my head. Fonz would say, Mrs. C. And you remember, I don't think she ever had a veil on her head. But Donna and I were looking at her, what looked like her hat though.
That's pretty.
That little pink one that,
Mrs. Cunningham.
did we have it, LaDonna?
I don't,
But, just, I don't know, it looked like a 50-year-old lady's hat, you know, and she went everywhere in it. When she went to grocery, oh, here it is. I knew LaDonna didn't take it. I think LaDonna got herself to my hats, but. There, this
Yeah.
one.
Oh.
Mrs. C.
That's cute.
That's what they wore. They wore them everywhere. To the store, to church.
We should all start that. Let's do.
But that's, is there any questions?
You start. See how it goes. dog. She's a little one. She said.
So, oh, and the feather hats.
She said something.
When they came in, I never saw them come back again, but I grab onto them when I get a chance. They are,
Like,
Yeah. Okay.
this one here is very, very
Oh, that's pretty.
neat.
Ooh, that'd be pretty with a white coat.
Mm-hmm.
And I even like the green one. These here, now Queen Elizabeth, if you've been following them at all,
Yeah.
she always has a coat the color of her hat. And I don't care, mostly yellow, she's a good yellow person. But if she has an orange hat, she has an orange coat.
That's classy.
And everything, it just matches. And this, like this emerald green, I could see that on her too.
Those are pretty. Those are classy.
And, so those two, I thought looked a lot like her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is my daughter's wedding hat. Do I have some? Feels like I got some. And I know you guys wouldn't tell me. Remember the Mary Tyler Moore show when she threw her beret up in the air?
Right.
This one reminds me of that a lot. Oh, this is my ugliest hat ever. But I can just see a little old lady, about 80 years old, a little skinny lady, having that on the back of her head. It's straw, and she's had it forever, and I just had to have it when I saw it. So
Was that the one that reminded you of Sophia on the
Yeah,
Golden Girls?
on the Golden Girls,
Oh,
says
there you
Sophia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that bill is supposed to go up like that, or if it's supposed to be down. I like it better down, but. And I just got one other hat. This is one of my favorites. I love these fedora hats. I love them. But, you know, I always said Dolly Parton, she always thought she had it over on me for more reasons than one. But this here, have you ever heard her song? What was that? Patches. The color of.
Coat of many
Coat of
colors.
many colors. Her mom made that coat out of scraps, and the kids made fun of her. And so when I get this hat out, I think of it all the time. It's a hat of many colors, and I do like it. Thinking about wearing it Easter. Oh, and Jackie Kennedy. I guess I don't have a hat on her. This is her hat, but if I had a hat in pink, that's when her husband got killed. She was in a pink one, just like this. But that one there. And all these pillbox hats I bought because of her. The bow goes to the back. Okay, is there any questions?
Where have you found most of your hats?
I had, when I first went down in 1998, I went to work down at Mallard View, and I wanted, before Mother's Day, I wanted a hat show, so I borrowed them all from the Alma O'Brien lived next door to me in Lakeview, and she had all of her mother's hats, and she had inside the hat what year it was and everything.
Oh, wow.
So it was very easy for me to have. So then I thought, well, I can't do this. She was an elderly lady, and I thought, I can't borrow hats all the time. I'm going to start saving them. So I'd go to sales, flea markets. And there's some I bought new, like that Lady Diana hat that is straw and stuff, that I bought. And the red hat I bought, and the wedding gown is my daughter's. And some of them, if they were in a thrift shop, like this one, I paid pretty good money for it because it was a 1920s hat. Usually if people knew that I was saving them and they were gonna have a sale, they'd let me have the first I don't think I'll ever buy another felt or velveteen hat, cause I've got 3, totes at home of them yet. I wasn't gonna bring this one, and LaDonna said I had to. I don't know what she sees in it, but she just loves this hat.
I do too, it's cute. I do.
Cute. That's a pretty one.
It is. It is cute.
This would take a little nerve to wear, I would think. Doesn't that look a little
I might get a
pigtail?
shot for that. That was the one I was trying to think of.
Yes. That one would be one to fit me, I suppose. Yeah, and this is my dolly. That's the graduate confirmation. But I don't know if it came with the hat or not, because it was a good friend of mine. She lived to be 102. And I know everything. She had sisters 10 years older than her. And I know those hats. And the baptismal gown came down through the family. That's why they look like they do. Can't think of any other hat. That should be it. Do you have any questions?
How many years have you been collecting?
I went to work down there in 1998, and so I've been collecting. But you know, it's, now that anybody goes out of the country, they bring me a hat. I missed Ireland, and Ireland is a hat like this, only it's in green. And my best friend went there, and I said, she brought her son one home, and I said, you didn't bring me a hat from Ireland? And it looks just like this, only it's green. And, but some people, they just, don't wanna throw it in the Goodwill, and they don't wanna throw it so they know that I'm gonna, they just either sell it to her or let me have it. They've been very good. And that's another thing with that stuff over there, the gloves and the handkerchiefs. When I started going down there, working down at Mallard View, all the older ladies, and now, Mallard View is not a retirement home. Yeah, it's more of a retirement. It's not a nursing home. It's, well, what do they call them? Independent living. And, but the most fights were over the handkerchiefs when I got there. So then I suggested we put their name on them.
Oh, no.
And I'd find them everywhere. I'd find them in the activity room and at the mid counter and on the floors all over. So then when we had a staff meeting one day, I said, you know, why don't we just put Kleenex all around and forget these? But I made very sure that none of these were stamped with an initial, because that would mean I was stealing them.
Oh.
But see, they bring, people have lost loved ones in a nursing home or in their home. They used to bring Christmas decoration, gloves, hats, that's where I got some of them, and handkerchiefs, and they would just, rather than put them back out in the home, they would throw these handkerchiefs in kind of a hamper thing. So when I retired, they said, here, make a quilt of them. I haven't started a quilt, I wouldn't know how to start one with those, but it is kind of nice to have them. You remember how they used to give them for Christmas, little, and the bride always carried a white one with maybe the grandmother tat at the end of it. There's a lot of memories in those things, and it's a thing of the past. Actually, the gloves are almost a thing of the past, but you will see a glove with the evening gown sometime. But so, and I told my kids I am a collector.
They love you for it, I bet.
No, I said, now this is your inheritance, this is your inheritance. And they say, get rid of it now. But, I've got a game room that's filled of Elvis, and I mean it's filled.
And she does.
And I've got Santa Clauses, I started giving them to the grandchildren. Santa Claus stamp collection. And I also have these beanie bears, and they're in 2 big totes. And none of my kids want any of it. So, it's been a pleasure to show you my hats.
Thank
What
you,
kind
Jeri.
of feathers are on the feather hat? I mean, where did they come from? Geese? I mean, are they bird feathers?
You know what? I think they're more delicate than even a chicken feather, so they'd have to be a bird, wouldn't they? Don't ask me. When they gave them to me, I said, what feathers are these?
Not an ostrich.
But look at, just look at, this would be kind of a plume feather, it's just,
That is nice, that's classic.
I just don't think they'd have to be a bird, or like you said, an ostrich. They are very fine, look at that, delicate.
Like that blue one in front is a feather hat too, it's longer feathers.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those little things that they,
What a peacock.
They had to dye them.
Let's see that one on you, Jeri.
well, this would be like the 60s hats, where they just have, they'd be more my style.
Oh.
But,
Jeri, your granddaughter, Stacy Pritchard says hi.
oh yeah, that's,
We've got it online here.
she's a sweetie. I don't get to see her much anymore, she's busy with those girls. I don't know who would be brave enough to wear this one either.
Like a cave.
Belongs in the circus, doesn't it?
Kind of pretty.
Kinda neat though.
Yeah.
See, I got heavy hair and big head, so these do not fit me. And LaDonna wouldn't be my model. So she said, I'll do almost anything, but not that. I always had one of my granddaughters, Stacy's 2 girls, or my sister's girl. You probably know her too, she's a hemer.
Oh,
Which one?
yeah.
Yeah, which hemer?
There's Carter, the first one was,
What's her dad's name? I forget.
Oh, Jory?
Jory.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
They have got 2 cute girls and a cute guy.
Yeah.
They were the best models.
Oh, fun.
But
Yeah.
LaDonna bought this hat. Didn't you know she would pick out a man's hat? It is cute, but I don't know what year.
I don't know either. I got it at the, that, Single Tree Antique Place in Arthur.
Never been in there.
Only because you said you wanted.
Yes, it is a nice man's hat. I just don't have enough men's hats. I mean, you know.
And Rachel said, I have, Sonicson. What's her first name?
Marion?
Huh?
Carl.
Marion
Was it
Sonicson?
Miriam Sonicson?
Oh, yeah, Marion.
She said, I have about a half dozen of her hats. You could use them if you wanted to. And I said, I think she's probably got enough
I tell you
hats.
what, yeah,
But
we
she's
sized on
got,
this many tables and we don't even have room for them. I mean, we have to crowd them quite.
but she's got 6 hats of Marion Sonicsons, if anybody's interested.
This is a very old hat, and I don't know if it's a child's hat or an old woman's hat, but,
I just,
but the tag is in the back, so what they do is they put this in the front, and then this ties around in your hair. The veil goes in front, and this ties in the back of your hair.
there's little buttons on
The
there.
little buttons on the front. So like I said, I don't know.
What else is
Here's another feathery hat. Do I got a hat? I always feel like I got a hat. Oh, that's a funny feeling. This here.
Oh,
Pretty
that's,
stylish.
yeah.
I remember when these were in style. I don't know who ever have a hat. It must have just sat on the top of your head,
Ah,
because that is so small.
that is.
It's kinda cute, but
It is.
Evidently, we've got big heads.
well, I think that's all. You didn't think of any that I
I
have?
can't, I can't think of anything. You have to go home and get some more.
Oh. Home and read out.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I haven't had them out since COVID had started, you know.
Oh, okay.
But I have had a couple in Sac City shows. They were in church. I showed them in our library, and I showed them in our museum. And I showed them in the Wall Lake Presbyterian Church. But you know, the work of it is getting them all out of the basement and getting them, that isn't the half of it, it's setting it up, isn't it?
Yeah.
You all have to go back, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm very fussy. I've got tissue paper along, they'll all get stuffed with tissue paper. And if they are on a double stacked, they will